Coach, next up we'll go to Matt Shodell from Canesport. Matt, if you had a question for Coach Justice.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Appreciate you doing this. So obviously you talked a lot about the personnel, so you answered my questions there. So I guess what I wanted to ask you about then is the line sort of is always in close proximity. There's just no way around it. Is there any specific precautions you guys can take as coaches to sort of help your offensive linemen stay safe?
Yeah, so the biggest thing we're doing is when it's football, it's hard to get around. It's football. So that's kind of the inevitable. The smart thing I have to do is, as far as in my drills, I've got to be really conscious of keeping as much spacing as I can. Other things, you got to use props instead of maybe this would be a day where you block bodies. Well, let's use bags. And again, a bag may give you 2 more feet of separation instead of face-to-face contact. So things like that, we're really conscious as far as when guys are not in the drills, we have lines that's keeping them away from the rest of the guys. It seems like our GAs and our equipment managers are spending more time telling them not to congregate and just be spread out and do those things. And also, whenever it's a walkthrough type tempo, masks are up, those type mentalities. So we're trying to be as safe as we can. But football is football, and the fact of there is contact going to happen. There's going to be some close contact, but it's when you really add it up, it's not going to be the 15 minutes that the CDC says. So we're probably, as far as close contact, you're probably going to get a lot of 2 to 3 minute contacts with people throughout practice.
Coach, we're going to go next to David Lake from 247sports.com. David, if you had a question for Coach Justice.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you, I guess, 2 quick questions. Number one, just your first impressions of Isaiah Walker and maybe what spot on the line you have him working out with right now. And then number 2, just your overall impressions on the athleticism of your group, compared to maybe other offensive lines you've coached. How do they compare in that regard? Are they impressive, athletically, in your opinion?
Yeah. So Isaiah's a guy with a big upside, but people sometimes see these high recruits, and especially offensive linemen, it's such a technical position. And Isaiah's a guy that we see that potential, we see that ability. There's no doubt that we believe he's going to be a really good player for us. But there's a lot of coaching goes into a guy to get him ready to play. As far as his future, his career, we foresee him being a tackle, more than likely a left tackle, just because he does have a good athletic skill set. He does have good length, and brings all of those things to the table. All those things are all those reasons why he was so highly recruited coming out of high school. As far as the offensive line is concerned, you know what? I'm really impressed with our athleticism. As far as difference that even when I played at West Virginia and some of the bigger schools I was associated with, these guys can run. Well, we can run really well. Now we're still learning how to play in a lot of ways. We're still growing up, and they're growing up in front of everyone's eyes in a good way. But as far as the talent, the ability, the athleticism, it's all there. And the thing that helps is all of these guys have played ball. A high majority of those guys have played, and just for the fact that they have snaps, hopefully we can be a lot better on the field and produce a better product.
All right, Coach, we've got time for a couple more. We're going to go to David Wilson of the Miami Herald. David, if you had a question for Coach Justice.
Hey, Coach, a couple small ones. One, with DJ Scaife, you mentioned him playing guard. Obviously, he's played tackle in the past too. Do you see him specifically as a guard, or do you still see him as a guy who could be at either spot? And then sort of similar to what you were just saying about Isaiah Walker, just with Jalen Rivers, the other freshman, obviously, what kind of long-term upside do you see for him?
Yeah, Scaife's he's one of those ideal type of guys you want to recruit, because really he could probably play all 5, and that goes to show what type of player and talent he is. Really, if I told him tomorrow that he's playing center, he could do it and be fine. If I said, hey, you've got to go play left tackle, he would do it and be just fine. And that's the type of guy you want to recruit, because now it's easy for us to get the best 5 guys on the field. So yeah, I think he fits best at guard for us. I think he's probably a little more suited for guard, but also I think we're a little deeper at tackle. I think with the addition of Jared Williams, Kai Herbert's now a junior, Zion Nelson, even though we're playing them both back and forth, was the starting left tackle last year. John Campbell started the season opener last year at tackle. So you have, I mean, Zalante Hillary's played some tackle. So you have like 4 or 5 guys who've actually played in a college football game at tackle. That's not including Scaife. So I don't think that's as deep when you start talking to interior guys. As far as Jalen Rivers is concerned, Jalen athletic. I mean, Jalen's more of he's a bigger body than Isaiah. He's more of a thumper in the fact of he's just got more in his legs. He's thicker in his legs. He's a bigger mass guy. So Isaiah's probably a little quicker of foot, but Jalen's going to be better at holding the point, holding the anchor, moving guys from point A to point B. So they have different skill sets. That's why we kind of saw us in spring play Jalen a little bit at guard. And I don't know if Jalen's going. He's playing tackle for us right now, but I don't really know where he's going to end up. I just kind of put him at guard in the spring so football can slow down for him. Sometimes as a freshman, you put him on the edge right away, they can get a little overwhelmed. And we had him working with the second group in spring, so I didn't want him to just get totally overwhelmed right away. But Jalen in a lot of ways, it was a guy that could probably play all 4 positions, guard or tackle.
Awesome. Coach, we're going to wrap up with David Ferrones of the Sun Sentinel. David, if you had a question for Coach Justice.
Yeah, Coach. I was also wondering about Ja'Kai Clark in all this. He played a lot last year. So just your thoughts on him and yeah, I mean, just about him. Yeah,
so we're kind of having some tryouts at different spots. So tomorrow will be Ja'Kai's day at left guard, and we're letting him have a crack at it. The last 2 practices he's been playing our backup center, just for the fact of we've got to get someone that's steady and reliable behind Corey in case something we're having to Corey. So if Ja'Kai's not the starting left guard, he will definitely be the guy that comes in for Gainer if something happens to him. So as far as Ja'Kai he's not. If you did a combine test of all our guys, Ja'Kai's going to be in the bottom half of all those things. But as far as football player, feel, awareness, understanding football, he's one of the better guys we have. And so that's the cool part about coaching offensive line. There's so many different body types, so many different skill sets, and it's up to me and our coaching staff to figure out ways to put the right pieces in play. And that's kind of what we're doing right now. So you're looking at projections. I mean, it's hard to root against or to say that Gainer or Scaife won't be in the mix. But other than that, we've got a lot of guys trying to play different spots and trying to figure out what our best combination is.
Coach, thank you very much for taking a few minutes with us tonight, and good luck the rest of camp. I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon.
All right. Thank you, guys.